This is the best Green Goblin story that was never included in The Amazing Spider-Man. I've been reading through Spider-Man and I recently finished all of Stan Lee's works. There was a spin-off book that was released during this time called The Spectacular Spider-Man magazine. It got cancelled after like 2 issues, so I figured I can't be bothered to read it. I get like 1,000 issues of the main series to get through, so I'll take any excuse to skip on reading. Then, in one video, a commenter pointed out that specifically issue 2 of Spectacular Spider-Man is special. It's great and worth reading. I ultimately got curious, and I decided to go read this issue to see what's up with it. Yeah, it absolutely bangs. First things first, Spectacular Spider-Man might be a spin-off book, but this is quite important to the overall story and characters. And most importantly, it might just be the best Spider-Man story of its era. I cannot emphasize enough just how good this story is. It is a must-read. The story happens during the Mysterio two-parter at issue 66. On the Stan Lee timeline, it's about here. Here's the basic setup for the story. Green Goblin finds out Spider-Man's secret identity. The two have a little fight, and Norman gets whooped so hard he suffers from memory loss at the end of it and forgets he's the Goblin and Peter Spider-Man. Enter status quo. Many issues later, in this story, Norman finally regains back his memories and he wants to take his revenge on Peter Parker. The first part of the issue is shown from Norman's perspective. You watch him descend back into madness. Norman genuinely loves his son, but as the Goblin creeps in, he begins to turn angrier and more vindicative, more villainous. The issue is a bit of a slow burn, standing at 60 pages. Like, yeah, this one is a big boy. Normally, these issues are about 20 pages, so this is 3 times that size, and it takes advantage of that by building up to the confrontation. I love how Norman is depicted here. The art depicting Norman's insanity is just incredible. It's haunting to look at. Romita draws really good crazy eyes, and there's a lot of that in this issue. The issue uses heavy shadows, which I'd imagine come from the inker Jim Mooney, and all of this art, it just really creates this eerie and foreboding atmosphere. After Norman loses his mind, the rest of the issue takes place largely in Peter Parker's point of view. He's hanging out with Gwen and Harry, and we get to see them just be friends. It's great stuff. Again, the issue is taking its time to make you care about all of this and setting everything up. Eventually, Norman invites everyone for dinner. It's a trap, so Norman can attack Peter while their loved ones are right there. Either Peter dies and Norman gets his revenge, or Peter suits up and his secret is revealed, ruining all of his relationships. It's cruel, and it just feels plain mean. Goblin has like this personal beef with Peter, and he's making sure Peter feels that, and I love it. It's intense to read. After a lot of talking, we finally get out to our action, and as the two come into conflict. There's a chase scene followed by a long and epic fight scene that pays off all of that build-up beautifully. Goblin uses fear toxin to make Spider-Man see his worst nightmares come to life, and we get these hallucinations. They look creepy and weird, and I love this sequence. It's really fun to look at. I think this issue holds Stan Lee's best writing for Spider-Man, like genuinely at the top, like ever. I would go as far as to say this is also John Romita Sr.'s best work, and I don't say that lightly. These two are some of the most legendary people to ever work on Spider-Man. They have some of the greatest Spider-Man stories under their belt, but I really think this story stands up next to those stories. I feel like this issue is more creative with the art than the main series. Originally, the Spectacular Spider-Man issues were released in black and white, but they've been recolored since, and I love the colors that are in this issue. The issue looks gorgeous all the way through. Like I said, I think it might be Romita's best work. I think Goblin Lives stands next to all-time greats like If This Be My Destiny and Kraven's Last Hunt and whatever have you. I love this story, and I think it's a must-read. I think it's really that good. I'm not the first person to fall in love with this story. It must have been somewhat popular, as it was chosen to be adapted in the 90s animated show in Season 3's, I believe, final episode of the season, Turning Point. A lot of people have seen that show, so the story might sound familiar because of that. The dinner scene is straight from the comics. Raimi's first film has a Thanksgiving scene, and I feel like it draws a lot of inspirations from here. You can kind of see the roots of that scene. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but I see parallels. Green Goblin and Spider-Man sitting at a table. Goblin knows Peter's secret identity. Loved ones are ignorant of the situation. I feel like there's some connection there. In the main series, Norman would become the Green Goblin again, and that story, Goblin's Last Stand, is really great. But honestly, I think this was the better Return of the Goblin story out of the two. The Spectacular Spider-Man magazine was cancelled after this story. It made just 2 issues, which is a shame because issue number 1, Lo This Monster, was also really good. I guess sometimes having great writing, art, and inking isn't enough to keep a book alive, which is a shame. Issue number 1 was later written into the main series during Conway's run, in issues 116 through 118. It was modified to fit the main book. They added in colors, changed a few scenes around. The original version came out while Captain Stacy was still alive, and the new version came after, so they switched Captain Stacy out of the story. The villain's identity is revealed immediately in the original, but in the new one, it's kept a secret. There's some scenes that were added in so the story would fit into a regular book with cliffhangers and the structure of regular issues. Beyond that, it's pretty much the same story at its core. I honestly prefer the original version with the Romita's black and white art. I don't know, there's just something to it that really sticks with me, especially some of the faces there. It just doesn't work as well to me in color. I just read these 2 stories and I love them, and I just wanted to talk about them. They might be spin-offs, but don't let that fool you. This is Spider-Man at his best.